Well, taking measurements, I gutted most of the van today. Took those heavy seat tracks out. See those threaded holes for the seat tracks? Well, that's what I'm going to use to install my floor. Instead of drilling extra holes in the van, which I'm not going to do. It's a bunch of threaded holes. I weighed those seat tracks and the bolts, almost 200 pounds. Just those seat tracks alone. It's a lot of weight. And they're 1.5 inches thick, which I lose headroom of 1.5 inches, but not anymore. I'm going to do a thin insulation on the floor. I'm not going to frame it out and do all that stuff and the thick foam and all that. No. I want as much headroom as possible for a low roof van. So I'm taking my measurements. And as I said, my slide out is going to go between the wheel wells is 54 inches. And then I can spread out more here. And the width of the rear doors is 61 inches here to here. So what I could do is 54, and then I can bring out widen the slide. But it's going to be a rear bed pod. It's going to be a pod. It's going to be all enclosed. It's going to have an emergency window with a screen at the back. I'm going to put an air conditioning, a portable air conditioner there too. It's going to have storage underneath. Just got to figure out I could use those heavy duty 500-pound drawer slides or some kind of rail system. I'll figure it out. Well, I'm not taking the headline down yet. I just threw this carpet back. This is a brand new carpet. That wood, I made a plywood floor, a floating floor for this van. I mounted my shelf. I didn't want to drill anything into the floor. And then as far as my solar panel wires, where the old, I put a new stereo system in, so where the navigation cap is there's already a hole in the roof behind the headliner. So that's where I'm going to bring in my wires from the roof. I'm going to do for my lights, instead of bringing them through the door like it is right there. See that? So I got it all planned, man. It's gonna come out nice. Those door panels take an inch. You lose those. I would love to keep the plastic side panels and all that. Not doing the side panels, but they take. You lose 1.5 inches room on those side panels on each side. That's 3 inches of width right there. You know, try to get as much as you can. Because this is not an extended van. Nissan never made extended van. Ford's made that nice extended van in the Chevy Express. That would have been nice, but. So that's why I'm doing my rear slide out, because I want floor space. So when the slide out comes to here, I have all that room. I'm going to do over there, I'm going to do my cabinets. Then I'm going to do some line shelf. And right here, right behind the sliding door, I'm going to have like a little bathroom. So what I'm going to do is folding doors. So when the slide out comes in, they fold close. And it'll clear the slide out. Don't worry, I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of ideas. Don't worry, I'm going to get it done. It's going to be nice. But at least I have the room to work with. So the rear bed slide out comes out, and I have all this room to build. So then when it goes in, but it has to be slim when it goes up to the rear door because of the sliding pod, the rear bed slide pod. So I'll do it, so. Okay, stay tuned. A little bit of work, but nobody's done slide outs. I see them in Europe. There's companies over there that do them. They're smart. In the US, none of these van builders, I don't see any of these guys doing them. Not at all. And I am on YouTube, and I'm in the mix, and I see everything going on, and I don't see nothing about a rear slide outs. So a couple of guys I seen do it, but not much. It's mostly just put my bed crossways. If I put a bed crossways here, it's gonna go up to the sliding door. What room am I gonna have for a kitchen area, for anything? I got a wife and 4 dogs. I need room. I'm not going to be cramped. I'm not going to be cramped at all. No way. So that's my answer to this. And I think it's a very smart idea that they came up with because it increases floor space. So you have 9.5 feet from the rear seats back here. 9.5 feet. So if I do a 5-foot slide, that's 14.5 feet right there. You know, so I'll still have the 9.5 when the slide is out camping, and I still have 9.5 feet of floor space with the width. I think it'll work out good. You know, when you're doing a van build, you know, you got to be, you know, on top of space. You know, you're not working with a lot of space, so you got to be smart. You got to have ideas. You know, you got to make use of every little bit of space you can. You know, too bad those real wells, but it's all right. I'll work with them. You know, watch what I do. Watch what I do. Man, I'm gonna make it happen. I had to remove all this stuff though, so I can start measuring. You know, I was measuring all that, but no, really, now it's time. Stop procrastinating. I mean, I had a nice cabinet with a TV, Wi-Fi TV, I had the DVD player, I had slide-out tables, a futon, all that. I don't want that. That's, you know, it was nice. You know, I made it, you know, I made it okay for what it was. But now I want to do a professional build. You know, as far as the wall panels, I don't know what I want to do. Everything's filled with rock wool. So my side panels, you knock on these side panels. No ting, ting, ting like they used to be. So that rock wool has been in there for a couple of years at least. So that really insulated it. You know, we went to Tennessee in 18-degree weather. And, you know, it's nice to have rear heat. I see a lot of guys rip out the rear air, rear heat. Bull crap, I'm not doing that. That's like an auxiliary backup. Rear air and rear heat on a passenger van, I'm going to keep that. That's foolish to take that out. A lot of guys pull it out. I'm not doing that. The unit is right up there. That's okay. You know, it's not taking a... I'll build around it. Believe me, I'll build around the AC unit. It's not a big deal, you know. So, but it's good to have that, you know. Cargo vans don't have that. That's the thing, you know. Cargo van, but passenger vans have it. So I'm gonna work with that. Definitely work with that. And okay, well, I guess that's about it. Stay tuned. This headliner is... I'm not keeping this headliner. You know, I don't know. The rear heat's in the floor. I'm going to reroute the rear heat ducts, and I'm either put them in the side, run them duct hoses, and I'll run them, and I'll put vents in the side for the rear heat. Got to keep it low because heat comes from the floor. Heat comes from below and rises to the top. AC comes from the top and comes down. So that's no problem. I would love to redirect the airflow kit, the side ducts to the side. Maybe I'll just run it side. Maybe I'll run it along the side. Do it that way. You know, because then, you know, otherwise it takes up a little bit. I'd rather just mount the ceiling right to the cross beams, but the airflow kit goes in above, you know, in front of the cross beams, but 7/8 of an inch. I mean, you know, it's not big, but I mean, if I could do it, I don't want. Once I get that headline done, the airbags are going too, so I'll be selling the airbags. If anybody's, I got a lot of people in Nissan groups that they have a little fender bed that deploys the airbags and all that. But there's airbags that goes down each side of here. I don't need them back here. There's no passengers. You know, I never took them out, but really, I really don't need them. So maybe somebody else can benefit, save their van from salvage title. This is an inverter over here. I have see that over there? I have a 1,000-watt inverter for emergency running to the battery. If I have to charge up my power station or anything, yeah, this van's gonna be powered by power stations. It's not gonna be, I'm not gonna do a bunch of batteries with wiring and solar charge controllers and this and that. I got all that figured out. So, okay. I'm gonna turn this 2012 Nissan NV3500 into a nice camper van. So stay tuned.